so bad.
Oh,
Okay.
hey.
Hey, I'll say, girl. Good for notifications, huh?
Hey, good to
Ah,
know.
all right, all right. Listen to Trina Davis. Trina Davis she say it is not too late in 2022 to do whatever you want to do.
That's right.
Okay,
That's our song.
that's outside. And listen, you can purchase that song on any major streaming app. The name of the song is Not Too Late, and the artist is Trina Davis. Support local artists from here in Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois.
That's
Buy
right.
their tracks, support them. It's good music.
Yes, fantastic.
Well, welcome to
Opinions
All
on
right.
Rhythm Flow Radio.
All right. But it's not about Rhythm Flow Radio. It's about these opinions, you
That's
know?
right. And what do they say opinions are like?
Oops, they say opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one.
That's right. That's right. And we want your opinion. So if you want to sound off and let us know what you think, feel free. Please give us a call 224-484-0962. And I don't know, should I just jump into what our subjects are going to be tonight?
Well, you know what? Why don't I put the link up on the screen
Okay.
just in case we find somebody that's bold enough to take this link and get in the screen? We might find
Okay.
somebody that want to get in the screen and have a word to say. So I'm going to put the link up here. They're right in the comment section. Oh wow, there's so many places.
Fantastic. Well, while you do that, I'm just going to give a little overview. So tonight we're going to talk about, well, today is, I should say, January 18th, Tuesday, 2022. And the subjects for this evening's discussion would be, we're going to talk about the free COVID tests that are coming out. And then also Jason Van Dyke, ex-police officer who had a 6-year sentence and he's being released after 3 years. Interesting. Then we're going to talk a little bit about all the scams that are happening in the pandemic. And I know I have a story about it. I'm sure you probably have a story that you can share with that, Katie. That's an interesting subject. And then also the 74-year-old lady that did 27 years in prison for a crime that she did not commit. Just tragic, tragic. And then also the first Black woman lieutenant governor of Virginia, and guess what? She's a Republican. So that will be very
What?
interesting.
Wait, wait,
So
wait. What did you say? She's a what?
she's a Republican.
She is. It's wait a minute. I gotta say this though, because I can't wait till we get to that. So she's the first woman elected. She's
Mm-hmm.
black and she's a Republican.
Yep, Lieutenant Governor,
Ooh,
State of Virginia. Yes,
I
that's
just
a
need a shot of tequila on that one. That's
hot
something to
topic.
digest.
So hey, so well, you know what we do? Shall we just jump in?
Yeah, why not? We've got this is oh let me put the phone number up here. I don't see a
Okay.
banner going across
Okay.
there.
Well, the number is 224-484-0962. So you can just come on in and sound off and let us know what you think about anything. I mean, our subjects that we're going to talk about, or not, whatever you want to talk about. 224-484-0962. So I have to say this though. So I obviously work a day job, and
Mhm.
I keep CNN going on in the background, and I had planned on getting my tests on Wednesday. They said Wednesday, the with the 19th, from the government. So I planned on that. But anyway, CNN playing in the background, and they said, "Oh, we found out that the government went live a day earlier, and you can get your test today." So immediately, of course, I heard that and dropped dropped everything of what I was doing, and I ordered my test. So yeah, so just so people know that it's actually up and running now, so you can after the show, of course, you can do that, or you can listen and do it at the same time. The website on that, just so you have it, and maybe we can even put it on the screen there, Katie, is www.covidtests.gov.
I thought I had it on here.
Yep, so it's www.covidtests.gov. So yeah, get free for free.
There
And
it is.
I've ordered mine. When I ordered it, I think they said it's coming or they'll ship at the end of January. So a couple weeks they'll be shipping out. So yeah, so that'll be good. We'll see who ordered them and who doesn't.
Yeah, and you can get the link right here in the comment section. You can get the link where you can order yours. And you know what? I don't hate to say it. I should stop saying that.
Yeah, just say it.
I love to say this. Make sure you're in the right website to order that kit. You would believe they've already set up the fake website.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna be talking about scams later on. So yeah, that's no surprise. And considering the climate that we live in now, it's
So how many kits? So how many kits can you order?
You get four per address.
4 per address.
4 per address.
Man, I might have a problem.
Why?
Well, I hope not. But sometimes when you I live in a townhouse.
Okay.
There's one address for the townhouse, and then there is a letter, an alphabet.
Oh, you know what? You're not gonna have a problem.
I'm not gonna have.
Yeah, it's all part of the unit. Kind of like so I kind of have a similar situation where it's one address, but then there's different floors. So I think USPS, they recognize that floor as a residence. So you should be all good.
Because honey, as soon as we get off here,
you'll be ordering your test. I wish they were doing the PCR test because I don't know, not to go on a tangent, but I was reading that there are people that have taken the rapid tests, and they've taken like several of them, end up catching COVID, and then taking the PCR, and then it tests, or they test positive when all the other rapid tests were negative. So I just question the sensitivity of those tests. So, I mean, I think having is better than not testing at all. But part of me kind of wishes that they would, if they were sending out the PCR test. But then I guess they would have to take the test and you have to mail it back. And then it just will be kind of a big production there. So I don't know. Yes, you can't have everything. It's not a perfect world.
I'm always trying to find a way to get around things.
Yeah, that's true. So hey, so there's that. So let's talk about this Jason Van Dyke. I mean, just to kind of set up the stage, folks remember Jason Van Dyke. He was back in, was it 2014? He shot Laquan McDonald, which was an unarmed, I think he's a teenager, if I'm not mistaken, unarmed. I think I shouldn't say unarmed. He didn't have a gun. He had a knife. But I believe he shot him 16 times. They found the now ex-police officer, Jason Van Dyke, guilty. There he goes. And now, if he was sentenced to 6 years in prison, well, now it's been 3 years since they locked him up, and he's ready to come out. And he will be released. And now the community leaders here in Chicago, they're urging the city's transportation unions to shut down the city transit system for that day. And so I don't know. I know it has Jesse Jackson's backing. I think he even spoke to a few of the community leaders, and they're working on getting that down. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the activists, they're saying that, this is a good way to sort of show solidarity. But given the issues that we're having in the city with crime and I'm just not sure if that's the right thing to do. What do you think, Katie?
Well, I think that somebody should take a stand somewhere. I don't
Mm.
know. I mean, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but at least somebody's making some noise about it. I mean, here's a man that shot a young man
Mm-hmm.
16 times. Not one time, but 16 times. He
Yep.
shot him so
16
many times
times.
you can see the smoke from the bullet.
Yep.
Okay,
And
and
it's going to be interesting.
and there were other officers there, and none of them didn't draw their gun.
Mm.
Okay,
Yep.
and you're gonna let him go to jail and stay 3 years?
Yep.
I
He did
mean,
half of the sentence. There are people that are on that are non-violent offenders that have gotten 20 years. Let's say on a drug charge, 20 years where no one was killed, but they did end up doing more time than this ex-police officer did. It's just I don't know. It
here's
just
a
doesn't.
man that killed a man. Okay,
Yep.
and if the camera hadn't have been there, he would
Yep.
have walked free.
Yeah. And how about that? Thank
Okay,
God for technology. Most of the things that have happened, just some of these court cases, none of them would have what was it, the Aubrey case, just too many of them that have actually been filmed. Had they not been filmed, who knows
let's
what would have happened?
think back.
We know what would have happened. They wouldn't have been convicted.
I'm gonna take you way back. Think back if they had a camera when they killed Emmett Till
Ah.
to back up what happened in that little hit grocery store
Mm-hmm.
of Philly. Just think about that. If they
Yep.
if they only had a camera,
And
because
I think that woman, isn't she still alive? The one that accused him,
oh no, that
or
heifer
did she pass
died.
away?
She died. She died. But you know what she did do? I shouldn't call her a helper, but she's a helper.
I have some. If we weren't on live, I'd have some choice words for her.
Well, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me wash my mouth out with some water.
Get some soap.
Let me wash my mouth out. Helper. Anyway, as I was saying, before she died, you know that she did recant the story
Mm.
and she told the truth on her deathbed.
Oh my goodness, that's just abhorrent.
But if they had cameras back then, I mean, I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened, but at least they would have, you could see what really, really happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly. Technology. It's been in a lot of these trials. I mean, it's been a game changer. Just for the the justice system. I think that has helped a lot of people. But it's a shame though that we have to we have to shine a camera on society to make them do the right thing.
well,
Um,
we have, I guess they have and then they have is it blind justice?
mm-hmm,
When it comes to men, people of color, they
mm-hmm,
take a deaf ear and a blind eye
yeah,
because we see it one way, we see it another way. Just like
yeah.
right over here in Milwaukee now, uh, there's a young man. Well, he's a young man, according to me, he is. But he's on trial right now for shooting a man. He
Mm.
was riding a bicycle,
Oh my God.
and they claim the man and his woman they were in an SUV, and they claim that the guy on the bike said something, and the people in the SUV got mad, and girl, they followed him.
Oh my goodness, great. So they
And
basically
if
hunted him down
honey, if this
like he was an
videotape
animal.
hadn't have come out, it would have been his word against the wife's word. Because I think the husband, the one he shot, died.
Oh wow.
But they hunted him down in an SUV.
And where that was up in
Some part of
Milwaukee,
Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin.
hmm Milwaukee's in Wisconsin, somewhere over
Yep.
there. And his trial is almost like what's that young white boy's name?
Laquan McDonald.
No, the white guy, the young white guy that just recently got off.
Oh, in Kenosha. Yeah,
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Rittenhouse said, well, he shot the people in self-defense. But this
Right.
guy did shoot this man in self-defense, but I bet he don't get off.
Oh, interesting.
I bet he don't get off. I bet he gets some time. I bet
We'll have
he
to
is.
make sure we follow that. When is the trial coming up?
Huh?
When is the trial? Do we know?
Yes, they're having a trial right now as we speak.
Mm.
Yeah. I usually watch it on Channel 9 is one of those core TV channels.
Okay.
Man, I usually watch it on
Yeah, we'll have to make sure we watch that closely, and maybe we'll have some
there.
commentary about it next week.
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, Jason Van Dyke has, you know, let's tell the truth. He probably been out of jail all the time. Probably went away, and he got lost in the system. They had moved
Well,
him from one
actually, no.
jail to another jail, and did nobody know where he was. He
Well,
probably
you know
got
what? He actually got beat up. I heard it. They
what?
yeah, they reported that he that's why they had to move him. So because when police officers are in jail, it's or in prison, I'll say, they're treated very very poorly.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so they end up having to move him. So I mean, I don't feel sorry for him, but
Wow. Mm.
yep. So that was crazy. So yeah, so we'll keep that up. I'm not sure the date of when he's actually going to be released, but I think
It's
it's coming
something
to.
to watch, isn't it?
What's that?
I say it's something to watch out for.
Yeah, it definitely is something
Yeah.
to watch out for. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Oh wait, here we go. Is that he's what does it say? Obtained okay, this is from WGN, just so you know the
Okay.
source. Obtained records stating that Van Dyke, who was sentenced to 6 years and 9 months in prison, will be released February 3rd.
Oh, the third. Okay.
Yeah, so that's yeah, okay, so that's coming up very very soon.
I just don't understand that. They're men, women, and young girls that are incarcerated
Mm-hmm.
for having a bag of weed.
Yep.
There's some still in there that haven't got out.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
And
here's
this
the
man
thing.
done killed somebody and shot him 16 times.
Yep.
And I don't understand it.
That's why our justice system is that really it favors those of means. So and means the green stuff. So if you have money, you can pay a good lawyer, high powered lawyer,
Connected.
money or connections. You don't
Yeah.
even necessarily have to have the money, but let's say like a police officer. I mean, they're not necessarily rich, but they have the backing of the FOP.
Oh, yeah.
So, and if you have these connections, of course, you can get the best lawyer that there's going to be for you. So when you have those lawyers, oh, and then even like in the case of Kyle Rittenhouse, well, he didn't necessarily have the money for a lawyer, but I think they did a GoFundMe. You had a lot of these conservatives that the Fox News crowd
Yeah, he was on
backing
the right
him,
side of the track, huh?
right, and donating this money, so they're able to pay for a good lawyer for representation. But if you just happen to be a person that is, there's so many cases of people, they're trying to turn their life around. They end up getting into a bad situation, and because they don't have the money to pay for a good lawyer, they're in jail for life or in prison for life.
Okay, here
So
is a comment for you to read.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay, from Donald Kincaid. All
Mm-hmm.
right, Donald Kincaid, he says, my concerns as a post COVID long hauler who is fully vaccinated and boosted are the steps that we must take when we test positive, given the overflow at medical facilities. Are we being set up for the time when the tests and vaccines are going to cost to be acquired? How often are we going to be required to take the vaccine? Well, you know what, you Donald, you raised some very good points.
Invite him in the screen.
Come on to the screen and
We will send you the link and you can come in the screen.
or
You can,
if you don't want to be on the screen, give us a
you
call
can
two two
oh yeah, give
four.
him the phone number. Oh, give
Yep.
me the phone number
Two
up
two
here.
four 484 0962. You can come on in and
Okay,
talk to us about it. But yeah,
224.
just I definitely understand what you're saying.
What's the number?
How
Two two
far
four.
224 484 0962. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. how long is this going to go on? I mean, are we going to get more tests? It's just kind of like, when is it all going to stop? Which I guess is kind of a big question mark. We don't know. And then there is a overflow at the medical facilities. I hear that they're turning away people for scheduled like procedures, non-critical because of what's happening with the with the caseloads of COVID increasing.
Okay, there's a call-in number on the screen if you want to call in and make a comment or give your opinion. 224-484-0962.
Yep, come on in.
Okay.
Georgia Lee Adams, hello. How are you doing? Thanks for watching
So glad
us.
you're here.
Now we have a couple other comments that are on, I think, from YouTube, and I can't necessarily. Can you see what they're commenting?
Let's see this.
There's Sharon Darnley.
Mm-hmm. Georgia says she's good.
Good, Georgia. Good. Or Georgie, I'm sorry.
Those other comments where I posted the number.
Oh, okay. There's some people on, it looks like they're on YouTube. Oh, we have a caller.
We got a caller. Take that call.
Hello and welcome to the show. Opinions. Hello. Who's calling? Donald?
All right.
Hi, Donald.
All right.
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well. What would you like to tell us? Tell us something good.
My name's Don Kincaid.
Donald?
Yes.
All right.
And Donald, if you can turn down your device because we can kind of hear a little bit of feedback there.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Oh, okay. I think Donald's our first caller. We need to give him a door prize.
Well, we should. What we gonna send him? A card? We'll send him a card.
Yes.
Okay, we can send him a card or you know what we could do?
Are you there, Donald?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So what would you like to say?
Well, first of all, I tried to raise questions that I felt are going to affect the majority of the people who are out there who some are vaccinated and some are not. Mm-hmm. But those of us who are vaccinated, some of us are still showing symptoms. Because that's why I told you I was a long hauler. There are people who have symptoms, and we're still having to go and seek medical attention as well. But and I don't know. They told us after 6 months, some of the vaccines were not even going to be effective. Mm. And so we need to know about all those things because there are people who are actually have pre-existing conditions, and they're having difficulties trying to see the doctors anyway. Mm. And so they are the ones who are at high risk in terms of the conditions that they have.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, Donald. It's I think because it's so, they're kind of going in all different directions. I mean, they're trying to, get the vaccine. They're trying to, and all this is money motivated, of course. They're trying to get therapeutics and trying to figure out how they can monetize it. And I think to your point that they've forgotten about the people that are the long haulers that are still dealing with some of these symptoms. And like how what are they supposed to do? I mean, they, you're like people like yourself. You're suffering from this. So yeah, that definitely is something that really I don't know if we need to talk to our senator, to to the congressman, to get them to really start talking to some of these kind of research facilities, not the drug companies, because all the drug company wants to do is just they want to throw a pill at you, and charge you $1 million, right? But maybe some of the scientists, they can start kind of figuring out what kind of therapeutic way or lifestyle that you can do, maybe eating in a different way. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but there has to be some sort of a solution.
Well, they suggested that we do the zinc and vitamin D and C, and it's a regimen of different things that we do post-COVID to take care of building our immune systems up. I think for the most part that we need to be contacting the people in our communities, especially the ministers and all the people who have made applications for the grants and so on and so forth, and say that they have tax-exempt organizations to reach out to our communities, to individuals who are less fortunate and cannot help themselves, because they don't have transportation or don't even have money for medication, and see if they can come up with a way of distributing the money that they've acquired, even from the billions of dollars that have been put into the system.
That's a very good point.
Well, so much of that money went in the wrong hands that they put out there. A lot of that money that they advocated just for this pandemic, a lot of that money went the wrong way.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. And they got some of that money that they will never recoup back. Some people have already been arrested and serving sentences. And then your politicians, you got crooked politicians. They get their hands on the money instead of distributing where it goes. I mean, this is 2022. Let's just tell the truth. They'll steal too. They just ain't got code.
Absolutely. And then we have the PPP loans, which I like to argue that was a very small percentage of misacquired and misappropriated funds. I think that, to your point, Katie, it's the politicians. What about all the millions and billions of dollars that they have?
First go around, they gave that money away real quick. It was like you went to bed that night, and 2 days later, all of the funding was gone because they knew where it was supposed to go.
As a person who works in the financial community as well, what they did is use the money as pacifiers for some people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another fund was going somewhere else.
Yep. And they didn't have any programs to help, because here's the interesting thing about it. And like last week we were talking about the increased crime levels and all that. So 2020, that's when they had all the different programs. I think when the PPP came out, and you had people kind of making up companies and getting these $10,000 and $20,000 checks, and things were fine. But then once they start cutting people off or the funds were done, they cut people off unemployment. That's when all the crime and the carjacking, kind of spiked. So once the funds were gone, so I think that you can't throw money at a problem. You have to provide some sort of a context of if there's a program you can help people. What's the saying about you give a person a fish, they'll eat for a day. You give them a fishing pole, they eat for a lifetime. They should have had that lifetime in the kind of thinking ahead of time.
That's why programs like yours are so important, because they call attention to the mishandling of the funds and where they're not going and so on. There's so many churches actually that are out there saying that they're raising money and they're building new churches and whatever, but right down the street from the church, you got people living on the street.
Absolutely.
And folks pass by them every day to go to church. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that you bring up a very good point. That's something I didn't grow up on the West Side, but I was born in the West Side and lived there for a number of years. And you can go on any given block and see, or let's say a stretch of 5 blocks, and you'll see maybe 10 churches, right? And it's interesting because you would think that
at the beginning of the corner and one at the end of the
corner. And you would think that if you would see all these churches, that there would be something, kind of giving back to the community and all that. And it just doesn't happen. I'm not going to put anyone on blast, any, specific, minister or anything like that. But, well, maybe I will in the future. But anyway, I won't now. But yeah, so it just makes you wonder, like, what's really happening with this money? I mean, we kind of know what's happening with it, that it's going in their pocket. And some of these mega churches, not necessarily here in Chicago, but I know down in Atlanta they have quite a few. I think there was a scandal with one minister that he said that God wanted him to get a new private jet or something like that. Like, I wish God would think that highly of me to want me to have a
Well,
private
I
jet.
mean,
Travel the better part of my life playing gospel music,
Okay.
and I've had a chance to go to a lot of these mega churches, out in Houston, Texas, with Hilliard, and then of course here up here as well. And some of these churches got 20,000 members.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And can you imagine what a significant economic impact that would have? They just decided that they were going every Sunday they were going to donate $2 a piece to the poverty program, or whatever, and those funds were actually taken and dispersed among the people who are less fortunate.
Oh wow!
if the mega churches, if the mega churches did that, I guarantee you, for 6 months, they could almost end homelessness.
Oh, definitely,
I'm serious.
definitely
If
in the
they
city
did
for
that
sure.
repeatedly every Sunday, because some of them gonna give more than $2, okay? And they did that for 6 months. Girl, could you imagine how much money they would raise?
Yep, it's definitely doable. It just calls for people to be a little more selfless than selfish, right?
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
and that have a sense of community. And I think that something that I really don't hear talked about a lot, and I think this is probably a conversation. It's a probably a controversial conversation, but when we talk about the Black community, my question is there a Black community anymore? I mean, we don't really have any leaders. I want to say Jesse Jackson is probably one of the, and maybe some of the the congressmen and women that we have now, but and a lot of them are older. I don't really know if we have a Black community anymore. So it's kind of hard to organize if everyone is kind of each person for themselves.
No, we don't have a Black community anymore as an official political entity.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is happening is that the Hispanic community has taken over the official minority position in America.
Yep, that's true.
And so, as a result of that, you see the politics of the funding and everything. If you look at it in Chicago, the Hispanic people got more of the grant money and the rebuilding and the community money than the Black people in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I would challenge you with this, not on that precept. That's very true. I think the reasons behind it, I forget the actual statistic, but I know that the population in the state of Illinois, and specifically Chicago, among African Americans has gone down by I don't even know what maybe like 20% or something like that. That sounds kind of high, but we've lost population, and specifically the city. And what's happened is that most middle class Black people have moved out of the city of Chicago. And so if you have a decrease that way, and then you have an increase, because of immigration and like with Hispanics, and the birth rate is much higher among Hispanics, that's going to obviously make the make their position a bit higher in terms of having influence, because there's strength in numbers. So, but here's the other question is that as African Americans, why are we kind of just people that are in need as a group? Why do we leave them behind? Why do we once we sort of kind of make it, we're the first thing we're trying to do is to get out of the the Black community or the Black geographic area, where they want to move out to some suburb or something like that. So, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not gonna pretend like I but why do we do that though? That's the question.
Okay, why do you do that?
One of the things I used to express in my classes with my students was the difference between W.E.B. Du Bois's philosophy and Booker T. Washington, and we are strictly governed by those two things that were involved in that argument. W.E.B. Du Bois accepted the fact that there was a talented tenth of the population of Black people who were going to excel. They were going to make it. And it was their obligation to go back and get the ones that were not and help them to come forward.
Right.
Booker T. Washington said, well, no, stay where you are, put your bucket down in the water, work, and work along with the white folks, and they're going to help us get what we need. Well, that's not true.
That's definitely not true.
Because it has not trickled down to us like it's supposed to trickle. And of course, when it comes down to the people who've been successful, our people don't appreciate smart black people. They don't appreciate successful black people. So even the ones who want to go back and help them sometimes find themselves being victimized by the people who figure they owe them something that they don't.
Okay, you have a very valid point there. And we were talking about I think last week we talked about who was it? Shaquille O'Neal has purchased a chicken franchise, or actually he's developed a franchise, and they're actually opening up one in Rosemont, Illinois. And our question was, why didn't they open it up in the city of Chicago? Or why is he not kind of reaching out and helping? Because obviously we need help in the Black community here in Chicago. But to your point, you make a very valid point of what's the saying? No good deed goes unpunished. Sounds like it's kind of that sort of a scenario.
Yeah, that's true. And so when you really are saying that you're going out struggling to make it, because the greater part of America doesn't look at us as different classes of black people. They see black people, period. When you walk in a store, when you walk in a bank, when you want a loan, they see black people. They don't see a wealthy black person versus you have to know somebody that calls somebody and says, oh, yeah, he's the guy. Go ahead and lend him some money. And that's why our businesses don't survive, because we allow people from other countries to come over here and do much better than we do. Because they are able to come in and marshal the resources that we have, because we're going to spend our money somewhere now. When we make money, we're going to spend it with somebody.
Right.
This is going to reverberate in our communities. No, that's what happens.
So could it be that we, and this is kind of sort of my opinion, is could it be that we have the it's all the opportunities are available to us, but we just don't take advantage of them because we don't necessarily know that they're there?
No. When we come into contact with knowing that the money is out there available for government-assisted programs, the money's almost out. It's almost run out.
So are you saying it's a timing issue?
The ones who really have the opportunity to take and go out there and make money, they don't give them that upper hand to try to get them forward. They actually are dissuaded, or they're hired into the Fortune 500 companies to keep them from being competitive.
Okay, well,
listen, while we got Donald on the phone, Jason Van Dyke, who killed Laquan, like 3 years.
3 years. He's getting out February 3rd.
Okay, how do you feel about that? Did he answer?
No. Did you hear the question, Donald?
Laquan McDonald.
Yeah, the young man, I think he was a teenager, 17 years old, shot 16 times back in 2014. He did not have a gun. He had a knife in his hand and wasn't even really was not near the police officer. But the police officer shot him 16 times.
And they're releasing him from prison after serving 3 years. How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, I feel like that we have to understand the bigger picture of that, because there are organizations that are out there right now who want to arm police officers with assault type weapons, so that there'll be a greater number of people who are actually murdered. That's what comes out to happening. And those organizations will support. They go and raise money to get those people, like that young boy that shot those two guys that got off, that they fell in.
Oh, the Kyle Rittenhouse. Mm-hmm.
They raised $2 million to get him out of jail.
Yep.
And so when you got money that's getting lawyers, and I'm not saying all lawyers are crooked. Mm-hmm. When you have enough money, get enough lawyers to come up, somebody's going to come up with a dissenting opinion or a point that's going to tell the court that will get these people off.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly what we said as well. Yep, you're definitely going to have when you have more resources, you're going to have more at your disposal.
I want to throw a wrench in there. Okay. We know that Van Dyke killed Laquan McDonald. We saw the video of him shooting him 16 times, and there were other police officers, and not a one pulled out their gun to start shooting too. This man shot all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But here's a lady that went to prison and spent 27 years.
Yep.
For a crime she didn't even commit.
Yep, she sure did not.
He should go and spend 3 years and come out? Oh, it's something wrong.
Yep. This woman, she's 74 years old. Spent here, I'll give you let's get the background on this. Hold on one second.
We're admitting that that's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about what the reasoning is behind it. And basically, I guess we should be looking for what we can do to keep it from continuing to happen.
Absolutely. So just to give everybody and the listeners a background, the Tennessee woman who was wrongfully convicted of murdering her great niece spent 27 years in prison, was exonerated this week. And what happened was on June 26, 1987, Joyce Watkins, now 74, and her boyfriend at the time, Charlie Dunn, went to pick up Watkins' 4-year-old great niece, Brandy, in Kentucky, according to the report filed with the Davidson County Criminal Court. The next day, Brandy was unresponsive, so Watkins took her to Nashville Memorial Hospital. And Brandy, it says here, Brandy had suffered from severe vaginal injury and head trauma. She was pronounced dead and the following day, the report stated. And the two were with Brandy for only 9 hours, but the medical examiner, Dr. Gretel Harlan, concluded the injuries were sustained during that time. And then a year later, in August 1988, Watkins and Dunn were convicted of first-degree murder and aggravated rape. So it looks like they sort of did some more kind of DNA testing, and her name was cleared. But this is 27 years
of
later.
Her life that you can't give her back.
Absolutely. So it's interesting how there seems to be two different standards of justice. But here's the other thing, though. I just wonder if this is also because the founding fathers of our country wanted to have states where a state can make up its own laws, or I shouldn't say, or can govern. Is this a reflection of having too many varying laws in each state? Because it seems like you can get one outcome in one state and something totally different for a very similar case in another state.
Well, I think they call me a conspiracy theorist when it comes down to my teaching methods, because I feel like there's a logical explanation that goes all the way back to the very foundation of the democratic system here in America never included us as people in the first place in the Constitution or anything.
All right. Well, that's not a conspiracy. That's a fact.
Okay.
and so when it comes down to looking at that, they want to look. When they brought us over here, we were from different tribes in Africa. So even if they tell us to go back to Africa, I don't know where to go. But anyway, when it comes down to the deal that they brought us here and they worked us for free. And when they said they emancipated us, they didn't have anything for us to do that they wanted to pay us for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the problem is right now. If you're a strong, assertive black person, they don't want you in charge of nothing. If you look around, you would think I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you. They don't want strong black people representing nowhere. They don't want you on the radio. They don't want you speaking English clearly. They want to be able to question whatever you do and make it look like you're illogical in terms of the chances that you have to take. So that's what we got to come in. Our people got to trust you like I do enough to make a phone call. And get up off our butts and get out here and get it done. Or else they're going to take advantage of us and keep holding us hostage.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, those are definitely very, like I said, I don't think these are not conspiracy. It's basically and this is kind of like this whole issue of what's it called that they don't want to teach in school, the critical race theory. You know, and I hate that they gave it that name. I mean, basically it's Black history, or it's not even Black, it's US history. I mean, you don't want white children to feel bad because, oh, we're talking too much about slavery. Well, I mean, this country was built on free labor. So that's a huge part of American history. And I don't understand why it would be such a, a horrible thing to tell what happened. Because I think growing up, I mean, we didn't get enough of that. I mean, the Black history that I know is because my mother taught it to me. And I, grew up in, the 70s and the 80s. And she was, here in Illinois, but my, parents, they're from the South. So they grew up with, celebrating, Martin Luther King and having the, the Lift Every Voice and Sing, the national anthem, Black anthem. So they grew up with these sort of things, but, now it fell out of fashion. So we're not learning these things. And now with this attack, and not wanting to teach the whole of our history, I think it's hurting us as a society and as a African Americans as a culture, but the society at large.
Well, let me tell you what they just did. We have an issue going on. We won a $550 million lawsuit in Mississippi because of disparities in funding for higher education systems of the historically Black colleges and universities. And they made us pay money for white students to attend the Black schools for free out of that settlement.
Oh.
So they never have intended for us to go forth and do anything with the resources that we have by depriving us of the resources. And even when we go to the court, look at what they've done to the voting rights law.
Absolutely.
They just made a travesty out of that. That when we play in that people should be able to vote by the mail and whatever means necessary in a democratic society. We got people down there want to kill folks and throw the votes away and keep them counting them correctly.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So, yes, of course, we need people like you and Katie to come forth and tell the truth, no matter how many people get pissed off, because as long as I'm breathing and up and able to walk, I got your back as much as I can. And knowing that there's some other brothers out there just like me, we want to make sure that all these lies they need to quit lying and tell the truth about what life, what they've done. And then stop it. That's the only way they can stop it from happening. You're going to have more people like Trump. They want to run him for president again if we let him get away with it.
Do you think he has a chance to win?
Didn't they say that they had secured it?
He got money. And he got a whole lot of idiots out there that voted for him last time.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, because of gerrymandering, he very much has a chance to win. I don't know, he's having this little tiff between himself and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He's trying to kind of break away from him so that, because it's very clear that he has aspirations that he wants to run in 2024. So remains to be seen.
The thing that's happening also with the gerrymandering, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's why he tried to appoint all of those judges in so many positions, so that when people start challenging the changing of those voting lines, you got to come through the state court system. So Trump got in office and followed right along with the policy that's been advertised fabricated by the citizens' rights groups and the Ku Klux Klan for years. And that is, we cannot beat y'all in terms of coming out marching in the street. We ain't gonna do that with y'all no more.
Yep.
They're gonna take over the public offices and run them and change the laws, and then we'll be able to control the finances of the country.
Yep. Very tactical in their approach.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't have to see them in a white robe no more. They got suits on like we do every day.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So here's another question. This is we're kind of going through our subjects, and what do you think about there's a new the very first Black female lieutenant governor in Virginia, and she happens to be a Republican. And what's let's see, what is her name? I always forget her name. Winsome Sears is her name. Winsome Sears.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. What you're gonna do is you find that's what I'm talking about that talent intent. You have to find a way back to our people, because if you don't, you get tricked over into and then putting our people in the caste system and thinking that there's a difference between us in terms of the caste, in terms of the level, what kind of houses we have, what kind of cars we drive, or what kind of clothing we wear, whatever. No, there is no difference. But then when they get the people in the room with them in that room and close the door and say you're not like the rest of them, some people fall for that. And they wind up being used at times.
So here's a question for you. Can a Black person in good faith really be a Republican?
I think so. I think it depends on the caliber of Republicans in whatever particular area. You got some Republicans that when the economics call for it, they tend not to even have party lines if they vote along in the first place. The only reason they're stuck in terms of the division right now is because of what Trump did when he won. He and McConnell divided Congress, and they basically divided it because there was so much hatred going on when President Obama was in office that they planned on just trying to not let him do anything, but undoing everything that he did too. And so that hatred has not worn out of Congress, of the Senate, of the country at all. Of course, Trump got in office and exacerbated the whole thing by intensifying it, siding with the Proud Boys and telling them they were cool.
And stand back and stand by.
Yeah, stand by. Y'all just stand by. Y'all doing a great job. And then he incited the thing that went on in Washington. But they have not picked him up. They have not arrested him. They've arrested all the people that once they broke in the building. They got him on television and everything, on phone, talking to folks about what's going on, and they could get pension and all of that kind of stuff.
So will justice be served? That's the question. It seems like everyone is being held accountable, but when it comes to, for some reason with him, what they call him Teflon Don, we still have not seen any him to pay for what he's done.
Well, I'm saying this right here. And what our people are going to have to do is just what we're doing right now. Is spread the word among us to stop being falling for the okie doke and even making a conversation. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's not, it's not.
Right.
And we need to start talking to our kids, because killing each other ain't gonna solve no problem. And trying to protect what turf are you protecting and for what for when you own nothing?
Exactly. Well, that's a whole other subject of really improving your community and wanting to.
I brought that up primarily because of the fact that's the premise that they go by when the Proud Boys and all that boy that did that shooting 2 days after they found him not guilty was posing on TV with Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and and all the conservative pundits on Fox News, they embraced him. He was I think he gave an interview, I believe, with Tucker Carlson. So
he's going to make a whole lot of money off of books and publications and stuff that go around in the community of people because they stick together and do that. And that's what happens in a whole lot of cases with the banking systems and everything else. It creates. That's why I tell you they call me a conspiracy theorist. But it all goes back to a group of people who came over here as criminals from the country they came from, and they decided they were going to take over the United States and make it their safe haven and still be worse criminals than they were, but nobody was going to ever be able to recognize them for the wrongdoings they did. And so they know well what they're doing. They own the banks and they run the companies, and those are the old names that are the foundational company owners in America. They compete with each other and make jokes. They shuffle the players in the professional ball teams around like a bunch of cards on the table or something. It's like
telling the truth. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's very, very true. So
what I'm saying is that we have a capacity coming together, which is not what they don't ever want us to do. If we ever come together, we're worth $3 trillion a year in this economy.
Oh yeah, we're some of the biggest consumers. Our consumer dollars are, I want to say, I forgot how many billion, but yeah, we are one of the biggest consumer groups, and we have like the least power. So that's something that's actually totally in our control. We can control that, but we just have to want to do it and come together. But it kind of gets back to what we were talking about, how we sort of leave the community. We don't have a sense of community to help each other. So
that's why they use so many tactics to keep us divided. They want us to have 100 things to choose from to put our money in.
Right. We'd rather wait outside to get the Jordans and pay. I don't know how much are they, like $200. I don't even know if they were owned a pair, but
yeah, some of them cost $250, $300 a pair.
Exactly. Instead of maybe, and consequently, I don't even think Michael Jordan is even part of Nike with that anymore. I don't think he gets any.
No, he does not, because what he did the last time he got royalty money from them, one thing I give him credit for, he has tried to give back to the community in a modest sort of way. Now, he doesn't give at the level that LeBron James does, and of course, there are a whole lot of brothers that are out there giving, so I'm not going to take any credit from them. They are out there trying.
Right.
But coming together when it comes down, what's got to happen in America in order. You can't continue to let the leeches hold on, have a stronghold and draw away from the blood that we need to be put. Once we put it together, then we can come up with an antidote for the leeches that suck the blood out of the black community. But if we're not, then they're going to use us to dilute the effectiveness and the strength of the black community, and then they'll be able to attack various areas and deal with it.
Yeah. Well, Donald, thank you so much. We really appreciate the call and most importantly, the input.
Well, first of all, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
That's the name of the show, Opinions. We enjoy call-ins. We enjoy people just visiting us on the screen because everybody has an opinion.
Yep, and Donald, we'll be reaching out to you soon too, because we have a few more kind of in-depth subject we want to talk about, and we're going to be having some other people on the show. We'd love to invite you as a pre-planned guest on the show. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I consider it an honor to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye, Donald. Thank you.
All right. Great show.
Yeah, we had a very lively discussion there.
Yeah, that was Professor Kincaid.
Yep. be a professor in where is he a professor?
He was at Mississippi Valley.
Oh, Mississippi Valley. Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome. Yeah.
absolutely.
Great input. So yeah, I think that one thing we did not talk about, and something important, we kind of talked a little bit about it, and this is the scams that are kind of happening during the pandemic. And this is really probably more of a public service sort of a thing, just to kind of raise awareness and just make sure people are really checking their checking accounts daily, credit cards. I know over the summer I was the unfortunate victim of a couple of charges that were made on my card. So it's
Mm.
really critical that you do that. And then also, and we'll put in the show notes, we'll put some links. But all three credit bureaus, I think a lot of people know this, but just in case they don't, that you are allowed at least one credit report per year. So that will be with what are the three bureaus? Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So I recommend doing that. You can even, and this is not one of our sponsors, but you can use a company like Norton 360 and have them monitor your credit just to make sure. And that's something that I personally use myself. There are other companies out that do that for a fee. So.
Well, yeah, those scams are things that you have to watch out for. And I think some of the craziest scams is when somebody send you a text message.
Oh, oh my goodness. For those on the podcast, it's a message from JP Morgan, and it's
But look how it's
very much a
out.
fake message. And it's clearly not them. But they're trying to entice you to click on a link. And of course, once you do that, that's who knows what's going to happen. So probably some crazy virus is going to get onto your phone or computer.
That's crazy. And then another one that you will see a lot of over the internet. These are it's this one right here.
Okay. And this one, once again, for the podcast listeners, it says, "Congratulations, $1,000 Amazon gift card is reserved just for you." And of course, they want you to click continue. As I always want, they want you to go deeper in so they can put their terrible virus on your device.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
There was one more. I wanted to show Winsome Spears. This is
okay, kind of going back to our
yeah, I just wanted to show who she was. Lieutenant Governor, first woman.
And she's not a scam. We were just talking about scams, so we've moved on subject. So she's legitimate.
She made history as the first woman and the first lieutenant governor of Virginia, and also she's African American.
And a Republican.
And sure, yes, I wasn't gonna say that.
Wait, we have to be fully transparent here. Not that not that we don't like Republicans, but she is a Republican, which is very interesting. I know we're kind of winding down to the end of our show, but maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we will have a guest that's a Black Republican on.
Do you know any?
You know what? I personally don't, but I know people that do.
Okay. Because I think if I had a friend that was a Republican, they wouldn't dare tell me.
Oh.
They wouldn't.
Oh no. Well, that's problematic if you can't
no, I mean,
divulge it.
No, it's that it's okay with me. I am who I am. I hope they are who they are. But I don't think if I had a friend that was a Republican, I really don't think something that at this point in our life that they would love to share that at all.
Right. Yeah, some people are, it's kind of funny. This woman, she was not African American, she's Caucasian, but one of my friends and coworkers. And I remember in the office when Trump, because she had shared that with me, and she had mentioned that she was dating, and that I guess when she would meet people, because she was actually from Indiana, and she would meet people here in Illinois, and then they would find out that she was Republican, and I guess she had a hard time of it dating because they couldn't stand that. But anyway, though, this is around the election time in it would have been 2016. 2015, 2016. And finally, you know, when Trump won, I said, your boy won. We were in the office, and she's like, oh, shh, be quiet. I was like, what's wrong? She was, I don't want anyone to know I voted for him. I said, wow, okay, that's problematic. I mean, I have no idea sharing who I voted for. So,
But you have a lot of young black professionals. I guess you could say they're in that monetary range, in that figure.
mhm,
And all you have to do is say cut tax on the rich. They can vote.
right.
I'm
But
saying,
here's the thing. This is just my opinion, that I think that, you know, obviously you should be of a certain, you know, income level to even vote Republican, because I mean they're looking all at you know, they're looking at more like fiscal responsibility and just conservative in terms of spending and all that. But my thing is, if you make less than $250,000, I don't think any of the Republican policies would benefit you. You know,
oh well,
and
they
you have
make
plenty of
more.
people.
They make a whole lot more than 250.
But no, but what I'm saying though, you have a lot of people that they're not even making six figures, and they're staunch Republicans, and I'm thinking you're voting against your interests. Like why would you?
I'm saying these are some young people. I'm talking about some people in their 30s, and
Okay,
these people, you listen. It's a whole new world out here.
well, and I can understand that because
And,
they'll benefit from it
yeah,
just
they're in
from
their
a
30s. They making six figures. If they ain't making six figures, they so close to it, they'll slide right on through. All right.
mhm. Yeah.
And
If you're making over 250,000, then you know, and especially if you're at the $500,000 mark, I can see a person, you know, voting, you
right.
know, Republican. But here's the problem, though, is that you know you have fiscal conservatism, but then you have social conservatism. Unfortunately, most of these candidates that I've seen that are Republicans, they kind of they're more on the you know, the social conservative side of things, and that's the part where I can't deal with that personally, because that's just, you know, it's not my philosophy. And
Mhm.
and to a certain extent, I mean, I could vote for a Republican that was more of a centrist, and that was more of a, you know, like budgetary conservative in that kind of way. But socially, and telling, you know, women what to do with their bodies and all this other stuff, no, I can't do it.
I can't either. And I had read an article one time where back in the 1930s, 1920s, no, well, I should say back in 1865, somewhere around that time, Emancipation Proclamation and the Declaration of Independence, blacks were Republicans.
Right? Yeah, because Abraham
They
Lincoln was.
That's right. They were the majority of blacks were Republicans. So I guess that maybe the Republican Party had painted a whole different picture from the picture that
Right.
they're showing today. Because right now they're showing a lot of separatism. They're showing a lot of They're showing that they're racist.
Hmm.
Okay, so I don't think none of my friends, if I had one that was a Republican, would say.
But you know, but let's even go back to that. Is that
Because
I
I
can
think they would be
see.
too ashamed.
Right. But even if we go back, let's say, into like the slavery times and, you know, Lincoln and all that. I mean, yes, he was a Republican. I don't think it was necessarily his sense of altruism and his sense of, oh, let's help these people. It makes perfect sense when you think of it just from a financial standpoint, that, you know, it's expensive to, you know, I mean, yeah, they're getting free labor, but then it's expensive to house people, pay
Hmm.
for their food and all that stuff, even though the quality of their food was, you know, horrible. But why not free them, and then, you know, you can, like what they did with the sharecroppers, make them pay, they're paying them to, you know, to till the land, and they would never, they're almost kind of like indentured servants,
Very
and then you don't have the responsibility for their housing or for anything like that. So it was
You
really a
You
financial
almost
decision.
sound like what they want to put in the history book.
Well, there you go.
Okay, because that's what they want to say.
Yeah.
It's so many
Yeah.
words. They weren't slaves.
Right.
And that's the theory they should have taken, but they didn't.
Yeah. So it's expensive, but you know, there's this tendency, you know, of a lot of the quote unquote patriots, you know, and I'm starting to kind of hate that term. I don't think it's bad to be just from the verb patriot or to be patriotic and to be a patriot, the noun. But I have a problem with what people have turned that into, and it's basically not questioning. If you're a patriot, you don't question history. You don't, you know, talk about the negative aspects and elements of what happened in the past. And if you do that, you're thought of as unpatriotic. That's not fair.
Well, let them question history, because once they question it, they make the truth come out. Okay? If you don't question it, just whatever they wrote in the book, it would still be in that book today.
Mm-hmm.
But I know since I've been out of school, especially out of high school, that book has changed.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and now they want to change that book back.
Even math has changed, which is kind of crazy. But
Okay.
the new math.
Yeah, but believe me, see, they want to change. Some of the stuff that's in the book they started adding stuff in that book.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make America look like America is supposed to be. That's a whole different face.
Absolutely.
Okay, so critical race theory.
Yep.
Gotta take it out of there. We can't look like that.
We can't tell the truth.
Right. But I mean,
what did Jack Nicholson say in was A Few Good Men? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Oh my God.
Okay, did we touch every subject today?
I think we did. So thanks everybody for listening. And next week, well, we don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a lot of things next week. So stay tuned on all of our social platforms, and we'll give you the update on our subjects. And hopefully you listeners will gain the courage to give us a call and join in on the fun and give us your opinion.
Yeah, and share the screen. Share the screen. Let somebody know that we're here. I mean, you can be here too.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is what? Participate.
That's right. And have an opinion.
All right. It's not too late.
Not too late. This has been Opinionated Lorie.
And I'm Katie Lowe.
All right.
See you next week.
Until next week.
Trina Davis, Not Too Late. Available on all streaming apps. Get your copy.